Hey guys, I want to look at BITA. Did a lot of scans, and I'm pretty selective on my picks. I miss a lot of the, well, I do on purpose, but a lot of the, I don't know, not so great fundamentally, just trade only stocks that are very speculative and, up 50% one day, down 70% all over the place. But there's one I wanted to look at, and I mentioned last week that the Chinese stocks seem pretty hot lately. And I wanted to find one that really hasn't hit its 52-week high, or at least hasn't hit 3, 4, 5 year highs. And the one that really jumps out here is BITA. And I'll tell you why for multiple reasons. If you look at the other Chinese stocks, WB, Changyu, CYOU, these are all hitting 52-week highs, but they're hitting longer term highs as well. So um, the reason I like BITA is they're kind of like a marketing online service for automotives in China. They do a lot of internet content marketing. They have an agreement they just struck with um, Tencent, JD.com, and Baidu. It's like a $1 billion funding um, provisioned by those three companies, and the news came out on the 21st. So you can see the huge spike, biggest volume in the year. And then if you look at the old pivot here from back in October of last year, that's where the breakdown occurs. We return right to that pivot point. We start to drift a little bit lower, and then we take off and blow through that pivot point. And the old pivot point is actually right where we came back down, and then took off again. So this is no doubt volatile, but it's breaking out of this channel right here. It's holding a 10-day moving average. For now, obviously, it's been volatile and has pushed through there. Um, but if you want to look at this from another perspective, um, it kind of rides along a 38 in this time frame. The reason I use a 38 is there's a break here. Here's your breakdown. You get close to it again. Attempted breakout failure. You kind of travel along this area here, and then you break out right along the 38, and then it holds the 38 in here. So once again, not traditional, but kind of use it as a reference to where this should hold if you're going to buy it and keep it for the long term. But the things that I do like about it are recent earnings news, and if you look at a 5-year chart, it looks really interesting here. So here's your 5-year weekly, and really after this area up here in the 37, 38, there's a lot of blue sky in this stock. And I love this long channel that it produced here. I mean, this is a huge 2-year channel that you're looking at, and we're starting to break through on pretty substantial volume on your weekly. So, with the stocks being, this sector being hot, I don't know if you just want to buy a little basket of some different, 50 shares of this, 50 shares of that. But if you're going to go for one that's, still depressed and hasn't come near its old highs, I mean, this thing was up near 100. This is the one to pick if you ask me. Earnings were in line on the 11th, I believe they posted, but this thing's definitely got some activity in it, and I think it might be something interesting for us to look at. I do like the idea that Tencent, Baidu, and the other companies are getting behind it from a financial perspective. And then you look at the double bottom here, longer term, obviously quite a bit lower, but I mean, this has all the technical action of a stock that's going to make a bigger move in the long run. You can even run a little channel down here and see how it's kind of breaking out of this channel right in the area that we're talking about now from a weekly. And if I zoom in, hopefully it won't distort the lines. Sometimes it does, but you get the idea. This is definitely interesting action in here. So price target's really hard to tell. Probably somewhere in this little drop-off area where it failed. Maybe in the 45 to 46 area would be nice. Right along in here. And that seems to be an area where it kind of really dropped off into the lower channel back in 2015. So if we get across this high-end horizontal resistance around 36, which is coming up pretty soon, I would say that it's definitely gonna try to get up into that 45 area, and that makes for an interesting trade. Your stop's hard to tell you. Probably somewhere maybe on a closing stop along that 10-day moving average that we talked about. If you wanted to buy a little here and buy a little bit if it pulls back closer to 30, and then maybe set your stop at around 29.70, 29.40. I think that's a nice risk reward ratio. So that would put your closing stop somewhere in this area right in here. Even lower, maybe below that candle. Get you around 29 even. So you buy a little bit here, you get down inside these candle bars, maybe close to 30. Your average is going to be 31 and change. Your stop's 29. So, even in the 28s gives you 2.5 points to the downside from that 31, and you got quite a bit to the upside. So, you don't want to split hairs here, but even to take a small position and just hold it as long as it doesn't break this 38 SMA. Within this time frame, obviously, as it moves along, it's going to be around 28 or 29 anyway. So, your upside heck could be 37 and 45. So, not much downside here, in my opinion, unless the market kind of rolls over or something comes out of China. But definitely an interesting looking chart here, no doubt about it. I do like this huge volume here. I do like the big volume breakout on the news. And it's continuing to run along this channel, and it's pushing to new closing highs. Here's the old closing high from the peak before. Went down and retested the bottom of the channel, and now it's pushing back up again. You can see where it opened up above that line, but it couldn't hold it, and now you have a close above it. So it's a big psychological plus for this. Everybody, I think, should take a look. BITA, Bit Auto Holdings.